Hello friends, my name is Rana Masood. Today we shall discuss about a topic, the project constraints. Friend, today's topic is very interesting and very important with respect to project management, and especially if you are a student of PMP planning to give exam of PMP near future. So let's start. First of all, I would request to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell option as well so that my videos can reach to you. So let's start, friend. Friend, all projects are affected by multiple constraints. Therefore, as a project manager or project team member, you are dealing with them every day. Identifying and understanding the constraints and carefully managing them could be the difference between the project's failure and success. Project constraints are limitations and risks that could impact quality, overall results, and ultimate project success. There are three primary constraints that most project managers would consider immediately, which are time, scope, and cost, yet closely linked also quality, resources, and risk as well. So, first constraint is the cost. With some exceptions, project will need a budget. You will want to be careful as much as possible while defining your cost, considering all known expenses plus including some buffer. Out of all six constraints we will discuss, money is the hardest, most sensitive and difficult to adjust when you are in the middle of the project. It is more likely that you will be forced to adjust some other constraints if you exceed the budget. The curious thing is that project managers in traditional project management need to balance between overspending and underspending. The latter happens more often than you think. Organizations usually plan their budgets yearly, hence if you underspend before year end, then you will lose your funds. To spend the money, team might rush, which will result in less than the optimal result for the organization. Cash is the lifeblood of companies, and project management should maximize the value gained from investments in new initiatives. The next one is the scope. Friend, the scope is the boundaries of the project. It includes items the project and organizations are trying to achieve. You will find not just deliverables in scope but also processes used to produce them. One of the scariest words for a project manager is scope creep. The term highlights common issues with the project. Typically, the scope is defined at the beginning of the initiatives and sign off by sponsors. The plan is prepared to complete items in the scope, and while executing the project, you will get a stakeholder trying to add new item to the project. Yet the project is constrained by our 6 elements, which means that something will have to give. Project managers have to be very careful and defend the scope with all the might they have. However, if you are working in product creation or using agile methods, scope creep is not just happening, but it is often expected and welcome in agile methodology. During the product creation process, you always learn about new market conditions or customer needs. Therefore, you would like to include new features and compare them against existing requirements. If a new feature is more important than what you originally planned, you would have it in the build. In this case, if you are not adjusting other constraints, the scope would be comparing with itself. The next constraint is time. It takes time to complete any project. In a corporation, you must know when a team will complete the project, the value realized, and resources available to be redistributed to other initiatives. Unfortunately, time is also the most challenging item to manage in the project and often results in missed deadlines or incompleted scope items. To be excellent in this department, you need to plan your project carefully, have reasonable estimations, and align your resources so they are ready to start when required, which means accounting for a holiday or overlapping priorities. Plus, you should add some buffer because you will always need it. Agile project management works with time slightly different than traditional project management. On the very high level, you would have an overall deadline for the initiatives and methods to ensure you have done as much as possible important work by that date or until the product is reasonably ready to go for beta testing or the market. Of course, depending on the selected frameworks, the time management may change. Next constraint is quality. Friend, quality is closely linked with the non-functional requirements of the project. You can deliver a feature or solution, but it may not meet the required standards or predefined criteria by the sponsors or stakeholders to operate effectively. There is no use from a website that loads one page in 10 minutes. So, the business might define quality criteria to have page loading in 1 to 3 seconds. You may also have some other non-functional requirements such as availability, reliability and maintainability to consider when building your solutions. However, for a larger product, you would also consider functional requirements if you are asking for an accounting system and it cannot add up values for you. Then a business cannot use the tool. Therefore, to maintain a project's quality, a team needs to address all requirements, solve arisen problem and achieve the objectives. Often the quality is looked after not just by a project manager and the team, but also by quality assurance QA or testing team. They would go through all defined quality criteria and ensure that the solution, feature or product does not fall short from the what a sponsor would call usable. You might have heard about the concept of triple constraint represented in a triangle, usually time, cost and scope. In the middle you have quality. Sometimes quality and scope can be interchangeable in direction. These work together because if you are running late and have no money left, you can still maneuver with quality and scope to deliver most of all the features. Quality might be effective if you could not do all the testing, but can provide features with some caveats. Okay. The next constraint is risk. Friend, risk is an internal or external event that could negatively affect project outcome. One of the keywords is could in that sentence. Even every risk event has a probability attached to it, and together with the impact on the project, it could be rated low, medium or high. Depending on your stakeholders and the nature of the project, you would be preparing risk management strategies. Before the project starts, you need to agree on tolerance level with your sponsors and senior stakeholders. Say they are risk neutral. Then starting to manage risk from a medium level would be appropriate. The low level risk, you would just accept it if they occur. There could also be a situation that if a significant unacceptable risk event has been identified and the project manager cannot manage the risk, so to mitigate or transfer it, then the business might need to close the project. Resources. Resources can be pretty much everything that a business is using to operate and execute projects. This could fall under physical, financial, human, know-how, reputation. Of course, not having the right resources will prevent you from even starting the project. Suppose we go back to building a website example. Say you need to link your website to the internal business database. If you do not have developers, you might need to hire those. If you do have the right team, still you will need to pay a salary. However, a business will have a developer on hand when embarking on such a project more often than not. In that case, the main problem for a project manager is to make sure that the developer is available on the exact period that will allow the project to be delivered on time. So, friend, thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please share it with your friends and colleagues, and thanks a lot for watching the video. Thank you, friends.